Hey, what's up guys? Matt here from Loon Outdoors, and today we're back with another tailgate talk, talking about something that's actually kind of like near and dear to my heart. It is competition nymphing, Euro nymphing, Czech nymphing, Polish nymphing. Realistically here, where I live in Northern California, spending most of my adult life fishing the upper stack, we simply call it high sticking. It kind of has a humble roots through the Ted Fay fly shop and with other locals here in the area of fishing a heavily weighted fly through the riffle water, connected to that fly on a tight line. Obviously that's, 30, 40 years ago. And today we've modernized this. It's become quite the phenomenon and everybody's doing it. The reason being is because it's super highly effective. So effective that we now have specialized rods. And do you need a specialized rod? No. Does it make your life absolutely way better? And are they far more sensitive than your standard 9-foot 5-weight? Absolutely. Standout for me is a 10.5-foot 3-weight. This one happens to be the Shadow X. The reason I love that is the extra reach and the sensitivity that the competition style rods offer you. As far as your reel goes, I'm running an old Gunnison. I'm a nostalgic guy. I've had this reel somewhere in my trout arsenal since the 90s, and I love it. As we move away from the kind of the basics of the rod and reel, we go into the line. And as you can see, this is a super thin line. There's not a lot of stuff here. There's no taper to this. It's a level line. I go into a butt section of some like maybe 18 to 20 pound line. I drop out to some 15-pound line, and from there I'm running straight 4X to my connection point all the way up. So this is kind of all cider right here. And so at my connection point, I'm going to have a micro swivel or tippet ring, 2 mil, 1.5 mil. Smaller the thing, the better. It's the way I like to fish it. I fish a little bit different of a rig. So this right now is set up for my dry dropper setup. First and foremost, I love fishing dry flies on my Euro rod. So at my first tag end here, I'm going to drop off a big stimmy, some sort of an attractor pattern. Maybe it's even a mayfly to match the hatch, or a caddis match what's going on. From there, I'm going to drop out about 24 inches, and I'm actually going to be fishing my point fly right there. So I'm able to control this dry fly and the action in places that fish aren't used to seeing fake bugs. Needless to say, it's super productive. Most of the time, we're fishing subsurface with this. So as I go through this rig, again, this is where my connection point is. What I'm gonna do right here, 9 times out of 10, I'm gonna run a soft tackle as my top fly. I love soft tackles. I think they're suggestive. I think fish are curious about them, and it's kind of sacrificial. It's not adding any weight to my whole overall system. I'll drop 12, 18, 16, whatever number you want right here, and I'll tie in again. And on this tag end, I'm going to throw kind of, one of these really fancy UV resin covered thread patterns. This is a small fly. This one is one of my favorite little PMDs that I tie right now. It just flat gets bit. It's got a little hot spot on it, but realistically it's a tail, some thread, and a hot spot. And then depending on the water that you're fishing, sometimes you need to get really deep really fast. So the bottom fly in this whole rig is going to be like a point fly. This guy, I fish a lot of plunge pools in deep fast water on the upper stack. It's a giant freestone river. So I'm actually fishing like a 4 mil bead on a size 8. Something big. It's got a hot spot and a tail and some CDC. It just gets down and it holds that fly. So that's kind of the basics of the rigging there. Now some of the accessories that you need, obviously nippers, hemostats, all of this terminal tackle. One of the biggest ones I think people overlook, especially for this, is as you're actually connecting to the bottom, your hooks are touching rocks. Having a hook file for Euro nymphing is absolutely a massive must-have. You're paying for tungsten. Tungsten is expensive, and if you're just going to keep doling these out and throwing them away, you're going to spend a lot of money at the fly shop. They'll so appreciate it. Hook file, Get in there, sharpen those hooks. So that light little hook set that you have to do, not swinging for the fences, don't need to do that. It's not indicator fishing, but those light little hook sets are gonna be way more effective with a sharp hook. So some of the other odd stuff that I kind of carry with me, I carry some yarn indicators. These are kind of like a Dorsey style yarn indicator-esque thing. And I'll do this for a deeper slot where I can't bury that fly enough. It's a big deep pool, fish might be holding down there in the dog days of summer, and I need to transition out of that fast riffle water where I'm happy and finding fish eating caddis down into something a little bit deeper. I'll even throw an indicator on with this and get a dead drift through there. It's not a big problem. That goes on and off really quickly. So that kind of brings me to carrying a floating with you. Sounds counterproductive. You're talking about Euro nymphing or Euro style fishing or competition style fishing, but this is way more than that. So if you're throwing a dry dropper, you're gonna need a dry shake or a liquid or something like that. Another great little option for pinning on stuff is just BioStrike. You can just pin on a real quick indicator. It's real light. It's not gonna add a ton of weight. So there's a ton of options of cool accessories that you can have. Obviously, nippers, hemostats for debarbing, all of that stuff. This is a super effective thing. You're just so connected to the flies at all of the time that there's a reason that if guys are going out to catch numbers of fish, they're doing this. That doesn't mean that you should bank your day on the number of fish that you caught. It should still be the overall experience and everything like that. But it's just another cool tool to have in your arsenal, because when you look at fly fishing, I relate it so much to golf. This is your sand wedge for your in close tight work. Then you can progress out from there to making longer casts and different tools in the golf bag, if you will, to kind of well round out your whole fishing experience. But again, it's super fun, it's super visual, it's super active, and for me, it hits close to home because I feel like the forefathers of this walked the banks of the river that I fished on all of the time. So anyways, guys, thanks for watching. We appreciate you, and we'll catch you on the next Tailgate Talk. GoPro, stop recording.